Team Unknown on the blue side decide that they don't want to see the Sivir again. They thought that that worked out pretty well for Rigby on Slick's side before taking that away immediately. I do like Slick taking away the Malphite, but the thing to remember is that is a very popular champion, mostly for Bear, who is not playing today. So I wonder if that one was as advised as it seemed so quick to be locked in.
All these bans are coming out really, really fast. They've discussed these before. The Evelyn was mentioned in the the stream chat. Apparently, we're not going to see that today. Rigby is apparently very, very strong on the Evelyn. And then, of course, the Senna. Streamer's Curse. The one time that you mentioned it's going to be 100%, and it's been anything but 100%.
No. 100% presence. So
yeah.
Picked or banned.
It wasn't in the first game. So.
And you're right. I will give you that. All right. We have our last bans there. Ezreal and Aurora taken away. And I can respect that. I think that Aurora is a very powerful champion. And especially because she's been out long enough that everything has calmed down. She's had her nerfs and everything. I think that they've put her in a much better place. And I respect that being banned, as Braum is the first lock-in here for Team Unknown.
Wow, a very interesting first pick. Braum is a safe pick, certainly. Goes along very well. Immediately you see the Lucian on the SLCC trying to make sure that his strongest partner is taken away from Braum. And yet, it's so interesting because Braum feels to me like an answer to problems, and yet here we are as a first pick. Very, very... kind of puzzling. Maybe they just ran out of time to decide. Then we're seeing the Sejuani on SLCC. Very, very strong.
I don't think that Sejuani will ever really go away. She, with her mobility with the Q, the crowd control with the kit, and the fact that she's so tanky, I think that she is a very, very powerful champion. So I'm always glad to see her. Smolder locked in again here on the side of Team Unknown this time. Calavir piloting the little dragon this game.
Yeah, I had to remind myself that this isn't the same two teams, that now Team Unknown is using Smolder. Maybe they learned something from last game. And Sejuani on SLCC is Team Unknown didn't play them either. And yet, strong champions are still strong champions. Of course, we're going to see them again. Shyvana. Okay.
Really?
Okay. All right.
All right, Shazbot. Chat was supposed to remind me of something, which they did as game number 2 ended, but the pick of Shyvana reminded me that I need to remind you to tell us your picks for relatively unknown champions you want to see. Go.
You guys caught me at a bad time again because I'm thinking about the Shyvana. Shyvana, that's a champion I want to see more of.
Perfect. Let's talk about Shyvana real quick. Nami locked in. That's not too surprising, especially paired with the Lucian. Talk to me about Shyvana.
Yeah, Shyvana is one of those champions that she came out as an auto attacker. All of her abilities work with auto attacks, and then Fire Breath, Shyvana became a thing. She became AP, and then people got bored with her because she's just an E champion at that point. So very glad to see that she is having a reversion to some more of her AED scaling. And yeah, I want to see her more in the jungle. And you know what? I promise y'all later, I will come up with a couple more and I'll post them in the Discord. If you want to see them, you have to join the Discord. So sorry. As the Aesol and the Veigar get banned by SLCC.
We got a chat reminder here that they banned the triple dragon.
They did. Wow,
Now,
some dragon hate.
I was thinking about this a little bit earlier. Those are the only 3 dragons in League of Legends, aren't they?
Yeah, and then you can get into the technicalities of Aurelion Sol being a celestial dragon and Shyvana only being half dragon.
Whatever.
Sorry, I like my lore.
Yeah. But other than the elemental drakes on the map, they are the only 3 dragon champions, right? Okay.
Yes.
Which is actually really interesting in a fantasy game like this. So, Riot, more dragon champions, please. We have a bunch of humans running around. Let's get some more dragons in here.
Hey,
Hui
the card game's
has
great.
been locked in. What?
The card game's great. Everyone should try it a little bit. Dragon
There we
decks
go.
are awesome. Wukong being locked
boy.
in. Team Unknown's team is a little bit strange, and I kind of dig it. getting the Braum. You've got some good engages on or some light engages on Wukong. And then we see the Azir. That's exactly what I want to see to put this team together. They're gonna get an engage, and all 5 members are just gonna slide in. This is gonna be a very, very mobile team. And then Tom Kench, is that?
Right. Look. I have my eyes closed. They are closed. I am gonna say it's Wukong top with the Shyvana in the jungle, and they picked the Tom Kench because he is one of the champions who can withstand the armor shred from the Q, because he first of all builds health, and then he gets the gray health.
Well, I hate to give it to you, but you're absolutely right. That is really exciting to see. Tom Kench top lane, not something we see super often except for response picks, and here we are as a response pick. Shyvana in the jungle, and then some very, very scary mid lanes. Proden, I wish you best of luck. That is a death on Azir is very, very scary.
We have seen Death's Azir, so we have the data behind that. And so I will give some data. I've known Proden for a long time, and what I do know about him is when a new champion is released, he doesn't just kind of let that happen. He picks it, he plays it, he studies it. And so ever since Hui came out, I guarantee he has been playing it. It fits his style, it fits how he likes to look at the game, and it's going to be impressive. However,
I believe it.
We have seen Death play the Hui, so he's familiar with the champion and should know how to kind of balance out that matchup. So it's going to be really spicy in the mid lane.
Yeah, very, very tough too, because Proden loves his control mages, and Hui not being any different. He's definitely a control mage himself. And Azir kind of eats him up. You get enough of a lead, and he's going to be able to Shuriman shuffle his way into that. Very, very difficult. But it's not saying that it's a one-sided lane. Hui being able to poke Azir out is definitely not going to feel good. I think it's going to fall onto the shoulders a little bit of the junglers and the time of the game. This is the Hui coming out. A little bit of Mandalorian references. We are on the Rift. Star Wars can wait until tonight. Certainly, but I'm very excited. Something about the Smolder, Braum, and then some classic champions that is just ringing true to me. Like, I'm very excited for Team Unknown. Not saying that SLCC doesn't have something, Lucian Nami, as you said, is a very classic comp and is very, very strong, should be respected. But something about Team Unknown's comp is really just ringing true to me. Trying not to show too much favoritism.
It's a lot of engage, because you have the Wukong who if he has the clone out, they both cyclone, right? So think about the area you get to knock up into a Braum ult, into the Shyvana jumping in. There are so many ways that they can start a fight. They have such an ultimate wombo combo. I think that's what's really calling out to you, is the amount of just gigantic spells that come out of Team Unknown's draft.
Yeah, alone, none of them are really true engagers, but together, yeah, certainly. You were saying?
On the other side, though, for Slick, I like their setup as well, because they have the Tom Kench and the Nami. Both fish have really good engage tools that, completely different, but still engage tools with the Abyssal Voyage and the Tidal Wave. Both of those will set up huge amounts of damage, especially with the culling from Lucian. But if you get all those shots down, it does so much damage.
Yeah, it's the amount of peel, the amount of anti-engage from SLCC is something to not ignore. Certainly. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, this stream delay is I can smell the good game. Like, let me in. Let me.
So, for everyone watching, we need you to buckle up, because what you may not realize is this is just the last round of the Swiss games. That means that we have a best of 3 after this game. That means there is the potential for 4 Slick versus Team Unknown Games. And speaking of, here is number 1. We are on the Rift for game number 3 of our tournament. Slick going for the invade. They spot Calavir. Can they get anything done with it? They take the ward. And I love that. More valuable than a champion at early game, by the way.
A deep ward going in from Kodo Draco, though, on the blue buff. I don't even know if they probably saw it. Looks like they paused the game, which is okay. We can talk about what just happened there. If Sejuani was a little bit quicker on the trigger for ranking Q, that is really rough for your jungle start, but that could have been a dead Smolder. That, it was very intense. But the read on Kodo Draco to say that they are not at their blue buff, to be able to put a ward there, very good read. Very excited to see all this. We love to see a good invade is always fun, but to see the kind of back and forth of the vision game is something that I think is definitely underappreciated in League of Legends, especially because both teams are now responding to it and are going to what appears to be the top side to start their jungle camps.
But now watch the other ward up there in that lane brush in between the 2 turrets in the middle. There's another Team Unknown ward. They responded even further than you said. They know that he's not starting on the blue buff, and that's okay, but where does he go from there? It's the swap! It's the lane swap! We got one! Congratulations, everybody. You are witnessing history as the first lane swap of the PLC history is happening right before your eyes. Calavir and Kiroro up on the top side, pushing an illusion underneath his turret.
Now, this is very much, as we kept discussing, as for the lane swap options, who is in pain more? Because Wukong is not the first champion that I would say, yeah, put a Wukong against a Lucian Nami. He is going to be suffering very much. And at the same time, Smolder's going to be getting so many free stacks off of Tahm Kench if he's not careful. It's almost like who's going to be suffering more.
Yeah. No, and it's exactly that. Bad guy Teemo is going to have a not very nice time. He can't get close with the poke here, and that's one of the reasons why I think Tahm Kench was such a brilliant pick, is because he's able to be close. He has the healing. He has the shielding. He's going to be much more satisfied with this laning phase. But Go ahead.
Against any other champion that wasn't infinitely scaling every single time you went to go CS. Like, this is going to be a very quick scaling Smolder. And if this was the read by Team Unknown, hey, let's do a lane swap, I really love that idea. And yet, the Wukong was not the play, man.
No, and one of the other things that makes a lane swap so much more effective is your pathing for your jungler. We see Shyvana down on the bottom side. Kodo Draco isn't up there to push and get those plates on the top side with his duo. But Yoshido is. He's down there grabbing the Gromp, and it will help be able to push that lane against the Wukong. But I think we spoke too soon. We are being turned right back into regular lanes. That was taken with the smite from Kodo Draco, and now it is a 1v1 in the river for the Scuttle Crab. Kodo Draco might come out ahead on this. Yoshido flashes into the brush. First blood for Kodo Draco. Broden shows up. He gets the fear. In comes Honey Guillotine, going to help support his mid laner. Rigby picks up the first kill. Death is now on the run. Flash forward from Honey Guillotine. Lands the bubble, but everyone had already turned away. Flash used for no benefit.
Oh man, that's kind of a bummer. That was a very good read right by Nami, but just no one was even around to follow up on it. Very flashy, but not too bad. It looks like, excuse me, it really looks like that we're getting back into it. 19 stacks on Calavir already. It's a respectable amount, especially because he's going to struggle to get those stacks against Lucian Nami, a very aggressive lane. Now, just because we swap back... I'll wait.
Yeah, because we swap back. Continue your thought. Nope, never mind. Kodo Draco's here.
Yeah, I'm like treading over needles because at any point someone could be dead in a couple of seconds. But just because the lane swap was not very long does not mean how impactful it was, because Lucian Nami want to get that kill at level 2. Big pull on Proden. Proden is chasing Death down. They could have lane swapped strictly to avoid dying at level 2.
And that's one of the fun things about this. Why people do it is because there's always a reason. I really appreciate that deeper look into why you might want to lane swap. You do it to avoid a bad matchup. But Kodo Draco is able to go in there, grab that first Chemtech Drake, and Team Unknown are... I mean, I was going to say they were ahead, but it's purely by that Drake. Hiroro wants to get some ice down. Honey Guillotine body blocking like a bro.
Gosh, if you want to learn how to be a better support, bookmark that play right there. It looks so strange, and yet look at where the lane state is now because he walked up and autoed them once. There's some stuff to be learned from there. Maybe a little messy, but that's okay. It's the idea of being able to zone the enemy champions off of it that Lucian is already so low. Calavir also running out of mana at this point. Yeah, Kiroro is just a masterclass of support. I really, really enjoyed watching him, but they don't have the vision of the Sejuani.
Yoshido, who is coming in, does not land the Arctic Assault, will get the mace over. Permafrost is available, gets stunned by the concussive blows, and Team Unknown makes it out.
Gosh, I love Team Unknown's bot lane. It is so good to see. Honestly, still like the gank from Sejuani, getting that pressure so that Lucian can farm a little bit. Calavir is really wanting to recall, but can't find it due to just running out of mana. The minion wave crashing into the turret. They're trying to save as much of that money as they can, as SLCC is able to go back and regroup and...
you see it coming. Look at that. That was a 6 stacks at once with a single Q.
Yeah.
I saw him prepping that. That was really, really fun.
Super, super well done. All that money on the side. Actually, kind of a hefty CS lead on the Dragon side. I was surprised to see that. BF sword on Lucian, very scary. A lot of weight being thrown around in the bot lane after that lane trade. This is the kind of stuff we like to see in PLC.
One of the other things that I really like, we'll get to in a little bit, as Bad Guy Timo is the target of the next gank. He jumps in, throws down the Cyclone. He's going to try and make it out with the clone. Knock up once again, but the damage is not nearly enough. An illusion eats him up with the Devour, spits him into turret range. Almost, but it doesn't matter as the Tongue Lash picks up the kill. Rigby, the next target. Concussive Blows almost procced. Only 3 out of the 4 in there. And that's our fight.
Yeah. Always incredible to see
Never
this
mind,
still going.
Rigby goes in. He has to pop the barrier. Hiroro is stopped in his tracks. Rigby was stunned almost the same amount of time. Kodo Draco is here. He's level 6. He goes in with the burnout, jumps in with the dragon form. Oh my gosh, he gets the dodge! And there's the bubble. It's also close, but now Death against Proton. Death gets the knockback with the ultimate. He misses the spell, flashes away. Death is still barely alive. Kodo Draco there to back him up, and Proton has to watch out.
Wow. All 3 lanes, crazy fight. It's still going. They're still chasing him. Proton is like, I'm going to CS a little bit. Nah, buddy, you got to get out of there. Oh,
jumps forward. Death gets hit with the ultimate from Sejuani, and Proton picks up the kill. Kodo Draco wants to go on the chase. He's fighting Yoshido. He won that before. Permafrost gets the stun. More damage there. Proton has to run away from the Wukong. Is able to do so. Kodo flashes to get the flame breath. Does not land. Slow onto Yoshido. Proton gets the severing bolt for another kill. 2-0-1 on the way.
Oh my goodness. Sejuani may not do a lot of damage, but she still does damage. Proton is absolutely just sniping people, taking some cheeky baits. Very, very well done for Proton and Team Salt Lake to be able to pull things like that off. Very, very impressed. Everyone can breathe again. You totally allowed to breathe again. The fights are crazy. Team Unknown suddenly finds themselves on the back foot. Not without trying. Shyvana has been in the thick of it, trying to pull good things out of a bad situation. Just the exact things that we'd love to see here at PLC.
I'm interested in build path because AD Shyvana is one of my favorite ways to play her. I go with the Ravenous Hydra and Conqueror And I think it's... No, you know what? It might be press the attack. I can't decide. But we'll have to talk about that later. Kodo Draco does go in. Proton is in a lot of trouble. Does have his shield from his W, but it is not enough. Death gets the kill, a huge setup, but now an illusion jumps in, flashes forward to get the knockup, popping the flash off of Death. Kodo Draco is going to be the next target. Yoshido jumps in, gets the slow with the flail, and they pick themselves up yet another kill. Yoshido picking that one, and now on the bottom side, we have a push from Slick up toward the Dragon Pit.
And with the Smolder on the respawn that we miss on the side, they're taking the dragon. SLCC takes a bad thing and turns it into a good thing. You know, the immobility of the Hui is really the downfall as the mobility of the champions come in, but then seeing that they overcommitted allowed the Sejuani on Yoshido to be able to make the most out of a situation, chasing down people. This is the importance of vision. Death is so good with those Shuriman shuffles. Very, very confident that they'll be able to get out. And yet, SLCC is able to take both because they have priority in those lanes. They said, you can't contest us. We're taking these objectives.
Slick ignored 7 minions under a turret to go after this. Honey Guillotine is caught, is saved by an illusion, and now the ultimate from the Hui is there. Kiroro pops, bad guy Teemo pops, Kodo Draco is in the front lines. He is cornered and corralled. That's 4 so far. Make it actually only 3. 3 for 1. Death gets a big ultimate to throw away some of Slick. Severing Bolt forces him down a little bit. Proton on the chase, does not land the Q. Chasing up into the jungle. Death is on the run. Do they have it? Severing Bolt to push him back in again. Death gets slowed by the tongue lash. Jumps away with the shifting sands. He is almost out. Proton has no mana. He's going to hit the blast cone to go over the wall. Try for an execute. But will it be enough? In comes Honey Guillotine. He just needs an auto attack. He gets a little bit of damage, and Honey Guillotine gets revenge from his first death up in the fight by the Grubs.
That was an incredible chase, and something that the viewers at home might have not noticed is the incredible chase that also happened bot lane. The Lucian was on the wrong side of the map the entire time, chasing down the Smolder, and Smolder lived through that too. You know, we can't. I wish we could split our focus more because there are just exciting things that are happening all across the map. There might be a 4v4 at Grubs, and yet they're still dueling it down in the bot lane. Very, very exciting game. It may be 4-10, but it feels much closer. SLCC is just being able to take objectives. When they take objectives, they take everything.
I think in this little bit of a lull, I want to bring something to the audience's attention. You said you wish we could split our focus. Tell you what, everybody, we have the capability of doing replays, but we don't have the equipment to do it. So if you are feeling generous, don't forget to subscribe and let us know if you would like to donate to our PayPal account, and we can see what we can do to get ourselves some replays. Shameless plug over. Proton is on the bottom side, and we go with the engage. Tidal Wave forces them up to the top side of the lane, but a nice unbreakable goes up to stop the fight.
Yeah, each of these engages are becoming scarier and scarier as both teams have shown that they're going to take a bad opportunity and try to make it their own. Their engages are very, very quick and can go bad very, very quick. So the dance of being able to kill these minions and be able to also respond to these big plays is what we're seeing constantly. 5 Grubs on Team Unknown is something I did not realize. Being able to push those quickly, Nami getting caught.
That feels really bad. Just right there in the they haven't killed her. They're trying to give it to Calavir,
guys.
But will he get it? They needed to kill him. They haven't done it. Honey Guillotine just might get it. He makes it out alive, and Calavir dies instead. They tried too hard to give him the kill. Kodo Draco finally gets it, but it was so not worth it.
Nami with these stuns. Okay, I'm learning this player's name as we go into a little bit more of the fight. So Shyvana finding the
Proden's
immobile
in some
play.
trouble. He flashes away. He picks up a shield for himself and makes it out alive. In comes Rigby. He's got some damage. He gets the kill onto Death. Kodo Draco might be in some trouble. Now, there's mana on this Proden at this point. Kodo Draco uses the burnout to get a little bit of movement speed. Rigby jumping forward, decides to fight Kiroro now. Another Severing Bolt is dodged by Kodo Draco, but man, the action doesn't stop.
It's crazy how much of SLCC has gotten through responses, not through action, but through reaction. Especially, you know, the Nami kill was a well-placed stun in a bad situation. The Shyvana has gone for, Kodo Draco has gone for so many easy kills that have just gone very, very poorly, unfortunately. And I think it's kind of leaving poor Kodo Draco a little stunned as he finds himself in the negative. What should be an easy win for him. SLC is finding that organization, certainly.
It's tough, and I think that's one of the reasons why Shyvana isn't as popular. Is she is pretty one-dimensional, right? She's similar to Garen, where she does one thing, similar to Olaf in that same thing. She runs at you and just deals a lot of damage and doesn't die when she does. But what I really like is this priority that Team Unknown has been putting on the Drakes. They get their second one. That's going to increase the effectiveness of Kodo Draco's champion by actually big amounts.
Right. And both Drakes that they've taken so far have been a good read on the map, realizing that SLCC can't contest it. SLC doesn't even try. And being able to take those dragons uncontested as Shyvana is just your dream come true. And yet things aren't going very well for them. They're struggling to be able to close out other objectives, and team fights are just been a nightmare lately, to be frank. Just from these responses that Salt Lake has had.
First turret does go over to bad guy Teemo in the top side. He teleported out. I don't know if it was wholly necessary, but didn't want to risk a confrontation as they didn't have vision on anyone else. All of their wards down on the bottom side. And while I agree that Team Unknown is they're behind in the kills, but they're only about 800 gold behind. And with that open top lane, that leaves bad guy Griffin a lot more space to be around and try and make some plays with that very helpful ultimate he has.
Yeah, with very even CS and a lot of team contribution for the assists, that this is what you get. Is a very even game despite having almost a 7-kill lead on Salt Lake side. I said this in the game with Poro Snacks that Salt Lake was struggling a little bit to take objectives with their lead. You mentioned passing up the 7 minions on the turret in order to go for the grubs, and I think this is kind of what we're seeing in response to this as they engage on the river.
In some trouble. Kodo Draco jumps in, and the triple ultimate threat is exactly what happens. That's what we talked about in Champ Select. That's what Team Unknown is talking about. They pick up 2 kills.
Holy cow, if you blinked, the trap just sprung on you. I saw like a click of fear almost, like what is going on as they get flanked up from every direction. Oh my goodness, a teleport that got canceled from Proden trying to respond on that turret that went down. A lot of money just injected in TU. And we find that despite being 5 kills down, Team Unknown has a hefty gold lead, almost 2K.
This is the point that I was talking about, right? We're almost 20 minutes in. They're ahead. They need to hold on to this. That's what we're looking for Team Unknown, is they need to hold on at this point, because all it takes is 1 or 2 bad fights, and then suddenly those death timers really come back to haunt you.
Right, these kind of mid-game kings that are able to kind of push forward. I swear they're just speaking like a better language between them, because they just seem to act together. They seem to understand what they're doing. It's probably because they've been playing with each other for so long, but this is why Team Unknown is so fun for me to watch. As Kodo Draco comes in for this stuff.
Oh no, that ward placement was crazy. Well done by Kodo Draco. Proden versus Death here. They unload all of the spells. Proden's going to get his shield, throw in more damage. Getting huge procs off the passive. Flash is traded, and that was pretty even.
I gotta give it to Proden. He's been landing some crazy skill shots, and then Death responds by flashing fears, by Shreem and shuffling very, very close. Like, both players, if they were piloting even slightly less, would be dying much more often.
Kiroro getting corralled into Yoshido, missing the ultimate, but they do knock him up. That's a teleport from Proden, not from Proden actually, it's an illusion. He is there to help take down Kiroro, and this is Slick taking advantage of a play, but they have to respond quickly as Team Unknown has pushed up into the tier 2, taken that, and with their 5 Void Grubs, look to take another one.
Yeah, as a support, you say, I'll save my ADC, I'll take 2 turrets for this. Rift Herald going on the bot side, and yet they might get an inhibitor for this. Like, SLC needs to see their turrets go down and respond.
Flash forward onto Rigby to get the knockup. He goes underneath the turret. He gets a shield from Nami. No, from Proden. Doesn't matter. Bad guy Teemo does go down. An illusion flashes forward, trying to get the kill onto Calavir. He's getting really low. Abyssal Voyage onto the other side. Flash from Calavir, dodges out the tongue lash. Kodo Draco is in the midst of the fight. Pulled into a stun from Nami. Yoshido is on the chase as the rest of Slick is chasing after Calavir. Severing Bolt. He gets the damage, gets the slow, but it is not enough. Teleport coming in from Death to help save his teammate.
Man, Proden Severing Bolts have been on point too. Very, very scary. I don't think the fight's over yet. Tom Kentry engages.
An illusion goes in. Proden onto Death. Honey Guillotine is trying his best. A nice wall from Death to pull away Slick. But they have the damage. They're going in onto Kiroro. They avoid him, and they change targets onto Death, who's the bigger threat. In jumps Bad Guy Teemo to stop Honey Guillotine. He can't heal anymore. Bad Guy Teemo onto Honey Guillotine one more time. Rigby trying to deal the damage. Goes through the Unbreakable. Yoshido jumps forward, does not land the knockup. Bad Guy Teemo is on the run. Rigby has joined the fight. Dashing forward, throwing down the culling. There's no clone, there's no flash, and Bad Guy Teemo goes down. Meanwhile, Calavir joins the mid lane fight, and pings are back on the Drake.
Oh my goodness, and they're still going. The health is so low for Salt Lake, but they're so beefy champions already that honestly doesn't matter. Calavir trying to find something more to do, but finding that his team is gone. Shyvana just said, I'm taking red buff, buddy. No, Kodo Draco is thinking about going in, trying to steal the dragon.
Comes out, it's in, it's slow, no steal. Yoshido has the fingers, and he secures the smite for the second Drake on Slick's side.
Wins the coin flip. That is 2 dragons to 2 dragons. That is very scary. Like, honestly, you know, despite all of this, despite all the deaths on both sides, Team Unknown is still finding themselves the gold advantage, and yet Salt Lake is very scary. Those fights just seem like they could pull them apart. Team Unknown seem to be scattered a little bit, which is kind of unusual for Team Unknown. And also, I only see 1 turret down on their side. Like, Salt Lake is not able to take their big wins. You know, of course, they're down on money because they don't have as many turrets, but they're not using it to get closer to the enemy nexus.
They're scaling, right? Isn't that what we're doing here? I don't actually think that they do scale as high, especially with the Smolder and the fact that Azir is so strong. I agree with you. What they need is they need a little bit of time. Their pushing power it comes when there are no enemies on the map. And you know, Team Unknown is doing a great job pushing against it.
Yeah, undoubtedly a strong showing from Salt Lake today. Slick is absolutely showing that they are a threat, and yet, like, the name of the game is to kill the Nexus, and I think the split pushing ability.
He dodges it out. The wall comes down, but the culling is too much, and that is what Slick was looking for. With Azir down, I think they might have pressure enough to take the Baron. Teleport is available for an illusion and not for Bad Guy Teemo.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing, but they seem to be walking away. There's definitely a lot of resistances from Team Unknown, and I guess they're going to take the top turret. Like, you get such a big pick on an Azir who's very, very strong, and then it feels like all they're getting out of this is just a top turret. It feels like the ball is still in Team Unknown's court, and they're kind of dictating the pace of the game. Um, to maybe the chagrin of Salt Lake a little bit. The gold is starting to close as those objectives come down, and go from there. It's a very, very interesting game so far. I think there's lots to study from this. If you're someone who's interested in macro plays, if you're someone who's interested in responses and figuring out, hey, should I finish this camp as a jungler or should I respond into it? Good VOD review if you are interested in this. So hello, me from the future.
I like Team Unknown's vision setup as well. They have it all up at the Baron, which is honestly where I think Slick could have been just a few moments ago. And what it also did is it forced bad guy Teemo out of the lane so an illusion could continue that push. It has been caught by death, and now Slick are taking their own reset after their small victory up on the top side.
Yeah, certainly. I'm going to steal a little bit from chat. I absolutely want to hear what the voice comms are like right now. Are we hearing fear? Are we trying to plan what the game is going to look like 2 minutes from now, which is what you should be doing in every game of League of Legends? Is it panic? Is it controlled? Or is it quiet? Like, there's so many different ways, especially for a brand new team. I hope one of them is recording it, and maybe they'll even be willing to share little golden moments with us. If not, maybe we'll have to ask it in the future, because man, being able to hear what this beefy Tom Kench sounds like as he's chased down in Azir is something that I am very, very interested in.
State of the map is dark for SLC. A lot of control for the Team Unknown, though, on the top side. Drake should be spawning in just a few short seconds. And again, it's Team Unknown with the vision.
Yeah, it's very interesting because they have very, very strong ganks for Salt Lake, and yet Team Unknown is not going to fall for those traps. Yeah, all the pressure is on this dragon that is spawning up, and a tower goes to Team Unknown. I think Team Unknown is responding to these threats very, very well. They say, we know you're very scary, we know your Tom Kench hasn't died, we know you have a lot of damage, and so we're just not going to engage on it. We're dictating the pace of the game. We know that you're scary, and we're going to respect you for it.
Ooh, engage onto Kiroro, followed up onto Calavir. The shield does stop the tidal wave. Death jumps in, wants to get the damage, misses both the support and the carry. He's on the backside in a 1v2. He goes down. Rigby takes him out. Kodo Draco is on the front line. He goes down. Stun onto Calavir once again. Double kill for Rigby. Can they follow it up? Calavir is dealing so much damage on the backside, they can't get to him after they stun him. The Braum was huge in those fights. Calavir has vision on an illusion. Flap. Takes a lot of damage from the Heartsteel. Severing Bolt almost lands. Calavir, does he have the excuse? He doesn't! An illusion gets him, and that's an ace for Slick!
Yeah, the Wukong going down on the top side. Just absolute crazy amount of damage now that Calavir is fully stacked up. The Smolder, very, very strong. And yes, Salt Lake definitely won that team fight. Very, very clean. Definitely some moments to hold your breath. Proden taking down the Wukong. I'm very, very impressed by his gameplay. Please remember to bring that into my next day RAM.
All right, Shazbot, look at flashes on every single member of Slick. They were all used, it looks like simultaneously, because the cooldown is all at a quarter. And you know what? That has to be a bug of some kind, because Death, Calavir, and Kiroro are almost exactly the same as well.
No, I think there's a good chance that everyone just flashed at a very strong angle. We've seen the Nami flash forward for a bubble. It is not too much of a stretch to me to see. I've seen Tom Kench flash forward to try to land a W, the Abyssal Passage. I think this is just the kind of team that they are. They say, yeah, we're not going to flash for another 3 minutes. We don't care. We're going to win this team fight. And you know what? I think all the better for it. And yet, they're still behind on gold.
Yeah, but only by that much, right? It's only about 500, and Bad Guy Teemo and Kodo Draco still have their flashes. So, Team Unknown should be looking to pressure. They may feel like they're behind or just even or whatever, but the most important thing is those spells. Everyone has their ultimates up, yeah, fine, but you have 2 extra flashes, and the flash on the cycloned Wukong is way more important than the fact that he has his ultimate up. It's the flash.
Right. This next fight and the stance of Salt Lake doesn't seem to be either they're not considering it or they're bluffing such that they say that we don't care about it, and it's the grandiose state, the way that Salt Lake kind of swaggers into each team fight, very, very confident in themselves. It's so interesting. Imagine yourself in a solo queue position right now. It's 12 to 24. What is your mindset right now? Because it doesn't feel as even as it really is. And they're going in. They say we have the vision. There's too many people on the bot side. Azir falls, but that is a Baron, possibly.
Not anymore. They are on their way. Yoshido and an Illusion are in on the fight. An Illusion has to pop the Greyhound, but it doesn't matter as Calavir on the backside gets the execute. Yoshido goes down. Proden teleports in and also dies a triple kill to Calavir. One member of Team Unknown has gone down. Rigby is here now. Throws down the calling onto Kiroro. Almost enough damage. Jumps forward to try and move it onto Calavir. Kodo Draco throws down the Flame Breath, dealing a lot of damage. Honey Guillotine is low. Heal. Rigby on the front side of the fight wants to find Kiroro. They're running through the jungle. Kiroro is the target again. He throws up the Unbreakable, but Rigby deals a lot of damage. Calavir does as well. Rigby jumps forward. In comes Kodo Draco. He picks up that kill. No, he doesn't. Somehow Kodo Draco lives. Calavir lives, and then he picks up the ace, and it is Team Unknown ahead in the fight at the Baron.
Oh my goodness, Calavir is dealing so much damage now that he's fully stacked. Freaking out my dog by how excited I am right now. But yeah, absolutely getting around the Braum shield to deal the full damage, but Braum's still able to stall long enough for Kiroro just to exist long enough in the team fight for that true damage max health shred. Oh my goodness, is Kiroro doing so much damage. I kind of feel like Salt Lake is starting to realize maybe we should have prevented Smolder from, I don't know, stacking all the way, because this is starting to hurt in each of these team fights.
Talk to me about Kodo Draco's build, because I don't know what to do with it. We've got a Bruiser, a Mage, a Marksman, and then Spell Penetration Boots items. Like,
it's very normal for a Kaisa. I mean, sorry, not a Kaisa. Oh yeah, she's Shyvana, huh? You know what? I kind of wish more champions were able to do this, but she's got a little bit, the Magic Pen Boots is the first point that I noticed that she was kind of going a little bit of a hybrid situation, really taking advantage of as much cooldown as possible so that she can throw out as many Fire Breaths as possible and get the resets. They're doing the Baron, though. I'll wait for that. Looks like Team Unknown is not going to be able to respond to this. They don't have the vision that is required to respond to it, so it looks like they're going to be able to take Baron for nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. That is...
Shazbot. 3 minutes ago, Team Unknown had all of the vision on that side, and then they won a fight acing Slick at that pit.
Yep.
What? Like, in our conversations about Shyvana's build, we somehow missed how Team Unknown lost control of that part of the map. But now Slick needs to be careful. Proden flashes away. Teleports are thrown in. Bad guy Teemo takes a huge amount of damage. In comes an Illusion. They have to get onto Calavir. He's on the backside. Yoshido is keeping him completely out of the fight as his team runs over Team Unknown. There it is a 1-for-1 so far. In goes Death. Proden gets thrown back in. He's alive for just a little bit longer. Rigby picks up a kill on the backside. An Illusion against 4. Rigby doesn't have the damage anymore. An Illusion goes down. Rigby has to back, and I take it all back. Team Unknown does have control.
That is insane. Like, Smolder is dealing damage of like a fully built Kog'Maw. Honestly, like, it feels a lot more like Kog'Maw than he does anything else. If you're watching him in the back line, he's just kiting around every single person that comes in. He throws a Q, marks every single person in the team in a line for that true damage. And I really just think they might just have this game in the bag out of pure virtue of Kiroro is a great person to heal, and Calavir is able to survive in these fights.
I think the big mistake was Slick trying to fight for this dragon. You had the Baron buff, and they would be on soul point, not getting the soul. Why not go to a wave? Get some of those turrets that you haven't taken all game. Get some gold, get some pressure on the map. Use that buff you just fought for, and instead they just lose 4 of them.
Yeah, and not to be too critical of Salt Lake, they've played an excellent game so far, but their objective control, they get something as crazy as Baron, and they're not looking at turrets. Baron buff is good for taking turrets, and they're still not taking turrets. They only have 2 turrets down, and they're up like constantly in kills. I'm honestly very excited for our future games with them to see if they can take this and learn from it, because clearly they're a very strong team. Clearly this Lucian is terrifying. Clearly they're smart at taking down the vision around Baron buff and taking Baron such that they're not getting contested. And then what? And I feel like that's where Slick is starting to fall behind, is the next step. They do all the right things and then don't do anything after it.
And that's one of the funnest things to me about watching professional League of Legends, is how do they use what they got. Yeah, getting kills is fun, but what purpose does it serve? It's gold to get items so you can fight. And speaking of fight, in goes Yoshido, an illusion is up here as well. And the team that lost the Baron dodges out and picks up a turret. They have the engage onto Calavera. It is not enough. Team Unknown has wiped out the Nami. They throw Proton into the mix. Rigby is the lone survivor. That's a quadra kill for Calavera. Do we see the chase for the Penta? No. That's double inhibitor available, or double inhibitor down. That's Nexus turrets available. They take 1. They have minions. That's going to be 2. And Calavera jumps forward. He wants the damage. Rigby dodges it out, and it is still no Penta. Do we see them go for it? In goes bad guy Timo. Rigby picks up that kill, and he gets the kill. It's a Penta for Calavera to end the game.
Incredible, simply incredible. Is that our first Penta in PLC?
It is not.
It is not our first Penta. Even so, very, very exciting. Very, very good job, Team Unknown.